Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Now this show is about all sorts of maps and all sorts of map makers. I don't care whether you are of the elite, whether you are one of the all-time greats that keeps getting 5 stars for every single map, or whether you're new and you're just trying to get your first step on the ladder and, you know, getting a little bit of feedback. I'm okay for all of those. Now today's creator, I have no idea. It's a private profile. I don't recognise the name. We've not done one of their maps before. The map though does pop in terms of the thumbnail, and even looking at this top-down perspective, it does look pretty good. So it's got to be worth checking out. Whether or not they are of any standard, I don't know, but they claim to be nothing more than mediocre, which you'll see very soon. Now, is this show mediocre? If it is, then maybe you can encourage me to do a little bit better by slapping your hand on that like button. Go on. That's right, hitting the like button encourages me to be less mediocre and hopefully will get me seen by more people too. So thanks for your support, everybody. Today's map is, is this Bivalle? I'm going Bivalle Coast. It's by Austin period, Austin full stop. How is it all the kids are saying period at the moment? I'm seeing that a lot on YouTube at the moment. There's your start square, there's your terrain heights, and we'll be having a little look at the resources in a moment. Yeah, what is it with period with a T on the end? I don't get it. I'm old, clearly very, very old indeed. Everything's still groovy to me. There's off to the workshop, a realistic 1.2.1 tropical theme. We'll be using the Relight Bleak LUT, and there you go. First line of the description: a mediocre map by a mediocre map maker. I wouldn't say this was mediocre. I would say it's definitely has its flaws, but it's not far off being very good indeed. And the theme and LUT combo really helped to add to that as well. Who would have thought of putting Relight Bleak with a tropical theme? Well, the answer to that is clearly Austin. Right, so anyways, let's take a little trip along the highways. They're not perfect, but actually highways aren't perfect. Seeing perfect highways in every single map, I'm kind of, that was okay. It wasn't unbelieving, disbeliever bubble. I don't know. I can certainly accept what we saw there as being a real thing. Now we're heading off towards, we've got a bit of a cutting going through a hill here. We're going to do a quick flyby on the roads and the rail and have a look at any issues on the second half of the show. So if you're thinking, hang on a second, you didn't say anything about this with regards to the cutting that's coming up here. No, I'm not saying anything about it. I'm going to cover that a little bit later. Right, so anyway, a slight elevation going up into the cutting, and then you have the cutting. I've got to say, I'm not biggest fan of the cliff textures on this particular theme, but they do, you know. And then if we head down here, we're going to come down to the start square intersection, which is incomplete because obviously the two-way roads aren't available until you start unlocking. So that's been left for us to complete, no doubt, by the creator. I will say though that I feel that it's a little bit low. I mean, you're going to need Anarchy to be able to build your road underneath that, or to completely rebuild the highway and raise it up a bit more. Of course, everybody uses Anarchy who uses mods, pretty much. But if you're new to the game and you're playing vanilla, that might be a minor problem. And down here, we've got a little treat. Several little treats, actually. Yeah, we've got 2 lots of trees here, and I've included a bonus tree as well, which I've not listed. This is the full silver birch 2, the full young trees, and the original full silver birch as well by MrMaison. These look absolutely, well, it's MrMaison, isn't it? Every time I see MrMaison trees, I imagine them just to be golden showers of fun. They're lovely. In fact, I'm going to show you golden showers of fun in a few moments. But first of all, factoids, because factoids. William Beckford travelled Europe in the 18th century, escorted by his doctor, baker, cook, 3 footmen, a valet, 24 musicians. And at every place he stopped, a room had to be specially decorated for him. Oh, look at that. Now, you think this is camera trickery, don't you? The answer is no. This is actually mod settings in-game. And maybe, if I can be bothered at some point, I might show you how I did that. But there you go. Twinkling gold, silver birch trees and full young trees by MrMaison. Beautiful, beautiful work as always. And we'll head back to the highways. Yep, there was no camera trickery there, apart from fading between scenes, because I didn't want to be showing you go through all the settings, adjusting and tweaking and making it look good. So it was just literally 2 cuts with transitions on it. But what you saw there, the flickering goldiness, was down entirely to game settings and mod settings. In fact, the mod itself is Render It. If you use that one, you may be aware of some of the magical things that you can do with it. I've only just started experimenting with that particular mod, and right now I couldn't tell you anything really that would help at all. I haven't mastered it. The rail is a little bit uppy downy. It's a realistic style map, and it's just a little bit well, it could be a little bit flatter. It's not too bad. It's well within for the game. Yeah, within game terms, you wouldn't mind this too much. If you want to play 100% realistic, then you probably want to come and just relay this rail to a slightly smoother finish, but it's not bad at all. It's pretty short. We've only got the 1 highway and the 1 rail connection, so probably about now be a good time to take in one of those intermissions.
Are you fed up with random vanilla buildings spawning in random locations? Do you want a specific type of building in a particular zone? Then you need the beginner's guide to theme management. Click the information button below.
And so we are back to Bivalle. Oh dear, I've got to decide on this. I'm going to Bivalle Coast, I'm trying to remember that, by Austin, period. And we've got a crossover of shipping lanes there, which means that ships can actually crash into each other, which is never a pretty sight, especially if you're doing screenshots, the usual thing. I'm just trying to think of you and your prettiness, you know. Anyway, shipping route goes off into the fog over there. Now, water flow, we have a little bit of coast only in the start square, and if you have a look at the water flow along the coast, there isn't any. So if you're playing vanilla rules, and okay, you could be using water towers for fresh water, but your sewage is just going to sit there, I'm afraid. It's going to stagnate. Not pretty. The map, though, is quite pretty. Aesthetically, I really quite like this one. I like the tree work. I'm quite keen on the beaches as well. The rocks have been used, actually, these vanilla rocks, they've been used to good effect. It just makes it look rugged without being stupidly rugged. It's so easy to overdo these vanilla rocks, I tell you. Loving the textures of the sand. Okay, that was down to the theme, but it's the selection of the theme is the map maker's job as well. Here we've got this little gully that comes in. If you watch here, we've got there's another gully. We'll follow this gully over here actually. So you've got the gully that comes in. And you can see how the palm trees are actually following the line of the gully, which accentuates the fact that it is a gully there. We've got some smaller plants there. And then as we come over here, it just follows up to a cluster of trees here. It's actually very cleverly done, very nicely done. And it does help to fill the space. The map doesn't feel empty at all. And that is quite a trick. Gotta say, it is quite, without using 10 trillion trees, it is quite a trick to make the map actually come together. Now we're talking about this highway and that cutting. Now that was all I've spoken about a lot of the good stuff. This is less good, I'm afraid. Okay, so this cutting, the engineers have come along and dug away a huge lump of hill to get this highway through the hill. Realistically, I would be using that hill as a barrier. Okay, you wouldn't have built through that hill. You would have maybe taken the highway down around the outside of the hill. That would probably work better. And there's also, if you look here, we'd maybe take a coast road, or even better still, we could take this highway up this way into the coast this direction, and maybe do some building up around our little gully there. So I think there's plenty of options. I just feel it's a poor choice of road, and maybe we could have done some more. But look, other than that, just look, it looks real. It's great terrain work. Over here though, well, I've got to say I'm not sold on this. This part of the map feels incomplete. Not only that, it feels useless. I would just basically sink that entire corner. There's actually some biggish hills over there as well. I would sink this entire corner and just have a rugged coast along here and just do nothing. Now, would that leave a big enough map? Well, pretty much. Pretty much you still have a decent sized map to build on. You could possibly extend the map to fill a little bit more space, but I don't feel that actually adds anything to the map at all. Down in this corner, you can see we've got some hills tucked away over here. Let's turn the fog off. I can find the fog toggler. Boom, boom, boom. There we are. Okay, with the fog off, you can see there's not really too much to see out here. These hills and islands don't really add anything, which is fine because they are supposed to be in the fog. But do they add anything with the fog switched on? And when we come back and have a look down again, I would say it doesn't really do anything either. Possibly a little bit mysterious, but I don't feel they really do anything at all. And I would clean those out completely as well if it were me. But what would you think, and what do you think of the map as it is? Well, it's your chance to tell me. Is this a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. I really want it to be. I like this map a lot. But can I rate it as highly as I like it? Well, let's have a look. Aesthetically, yes, I'm a big fan. I think they've done a great job. I think it looks really good. One or two things, like say removing of those islands and yeah, just cleaning up the edges of the map. I would do that, but I think it's definitely worth 4 stars. Detailing on the whole is not bad at all. I like a lot of it, and then that start square intersection, and why are we ploughing a hill to put a highway through it? I don't know. I'm going 3 stars. All told, I think it's still worth 3 stars. It's not bad at all. Gameplay potential. No water flow in the start square. Could do with more roads and rail to make it a little bit more playable in different areas. It's not broken, but I think it could do with some tidying up and improvements. So I'm going 2 stars for gameplay. Bivalle, what did I say? Bivalle? Coast by Austin, period. Oh, hell spells. Yeah, I would say not a mediocre map maker, not a mediocre map. I think just needs a bit of tidying up, and that's a very good map indeed. So there you go. Take that with you, Austin, and well done. Well, thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing, for joining me for another map in the What's Map series. Guess what? Tomorrow we have another map in the What's Map series, and of course an old one on the screen now. Hopefully Duvo will be back very soon. Hopefully. Can't make any promises just yet, but when I can, I will, I promise.